Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am back with another how-to video for you. Today I will be demonstrating how to cut a basic men's haircut. Full disclaimer guys, I am not a barber, I am a licensed cosmetologist, and I don't have a lot of male clientele. I primarily work with women. So whatever I do today will be extremely basic. So if I can do it, you can do it too. I know that for many of us, we are still in quarantine, and so we're unable to go see our barbers or go to the salon, so I thought it'd be a good idea to share my knowledge of what I know about men's barbering, which again, it's very limited. Before we dive into today's video, I want to go over some of the tools that you'll be needing and explaining how to use a couple of them. Up first, we got some clippers. These are going to be the main star in today's video. Our clippers here have a lever, and this lever goes up or it goes down. When we have it up, we call it closed, meaning that the blades are close together, and so this is going to give you a tighter cut. When you have it pulled down, we say that it's open. It pulls the blade down, and so you won't be cutting super tight to the blade. You have about what we call half an inch in leadway there. So if you had it closed, you would be cutting at a size 0. If you have it down, you would be cutting at a half size. And along with our clippers, we've got our hair guards. So these guards range in a variety of sizing. They go from like half a size up to size 8, I believe. This particular one here is a size 3, and so this is just an attachment. And the way they work is they go from half a size up to like size 8. The larger the number, the more hair you're going to keep on your scalp. This particular one happens to be a size 3, and we're going to be utilizing this later in our haircut. And a size 3 is about 3/8 of an inch of length, or 10 millimeters. And these go on your clippers like so. You'll hear a little click. At the bottom they have this little snap here that'll snap in when the guard is in place. And right now we have it open, so it's technically a 3.5 or a 3 with open blade. If we close it here, then we've got a 3 with closed blade, or we have simply a size 3. To get that crisp line along the ears and in the back of the hair, we're going to use some trimmers. I'm using the Wall Peanut. This is one of my favorite ones, and I've just had it for a very long time. However, if you don't have a peanut, I also have this cordless men's beard trimmer, and this will work just as fine. I have used both of them, and this works just as well. We will also be needing a cutting comb. And the cutting comb is simply to cut the top of the hair. We also utilize it in a technique which we call scissor over comb or clipper over comb. You can utilize this for both techniques, and I will be demonstrating that later in the video. And if you happen to have a barbering comb, this will also be great. This can also be utilized with scissor over comb or clipper over comb. This is probably a lot easier to use when doing clipper over comb because there's more real estate to safeguard your haircut. We also want to keep a spray bottle handy with either water or leave-in conditioner. And last but not least, we need cutting shears. With our cutting shears here, we have our loops where we insert our fingers, and then we have an extension here. So the way that you want to hold your shears is you want to put your ring finger through that first loop and rest your pinky on the holder, and then you want to use your thumb on the second loop there. And so when you're cutting, you want to simply move your thumb to do all the cutting action. Alright, now that we've gone over all the tools that you'll be needing, it's time to dive in and start cutting. To begin the haircut, we're going to be starting at the nape of the head. And by the nape, I mean the bottom of the hairline, right in through here. To begin the haircut, we're going to be starting with guard number 2, and we want our clippers to be open. So what I mean by that is we want our lever to be down, and we want this blade here to be on the lower part of the blades. Before we get started, we want to have our model tilt their head down. And with our clippers open, we're simply going to start at the bottom and come up. And as I'm coming up, what you want to do is you want to flicker out, almost like in a C shape. So going in and flicking out. Going in and flicking out. And as we continue the haircut, notice that I'm staying low on the head, right below the occipital bone. The reason for that is because we want to blend this haircut out. As we continue up the hair, we're going to be closing our blades, meaning bringing the lever up. But first we want to focus on the perimeter of the haircut. And still staying low, we're going to just simply fold the ear there and come in. So notice that even though we're cutting, some of the hairs are still long, and that's because hair grows in different directions. So you want to make sure that you sweep inwards and then you sweep outwards, and that will take care of that hair there. We'll simply continue through the sides. So what I've done with the number 2 and our clippers open is I've kept the haircut below the temple area, and I just followed a low profile through the perimeter of the hair. So keeping the haircut below the occipital bone, and I went ahead and did the same thing all the way around. So now what we're going to do is to fade this in, because we used a 2 with open clipper, or you can say a 2.5 on the bottom. To fade this out, we're going to go in with the number 3. And the number 3, we're going to bring it a little bit higher, maybe about 1/4 of an inch higher than our original cut. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with the number 3, and we're going to be closing our guard. So lifting the lever so that the blades come together and tight. So the reason we're doing that is because we started with the number 2.5 down here, or number 2 with open guard, and so now we want to blend this out, and we're going to go 2.5, 3, 3.5. We're simply going to do the same thing. We're going to go slightly higher at about 1/4 of an inch up from our original cut line. And again, remember to come up and flicker out, almost like in a C shape. Alright, so far what we've done is we brought in a 2 open guard, a 3 closed guard, and we kept it within the same design line that we had originally started. And what we're getting is a seamless blend. There's no harsh lines. And realistically, if you're doing this at home, the easiest numbers you could use to be able to get a nice blended effect will be a number 3 and a number 4. Number 2 seems to be a little bit tighter on the scalp. For my husband, he enjoys having shorter hair on the sides, so that's the reason we're going in with that, but you don't have to go as short. You could definitely use a bigger guard. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue with the number 3. However, instead of we're closing our clippers, we're going to open them up, and so that'll give us a 3 open clipper or a 3.5. My husband's hair is a bit wavy, so we want to make sure that the hair is combed down so that we get a nice clean cut. So going in with the 3.5 or 3 open guard, we're just simply going to go all the way up now. Alright, so now at this point we've blended from a 2.5 to a 3 to a 3.5, and he likes to wear a hard part. So at this point what I want to do is I want to blend these longer hairs into the haircut on the sides. So there's two ways you can go about this. One way is what we call scissor over comb, and then the other way would be with your clippers over comb. For this section, I would advise that you get a light colored comb because it's going to be easier for you to see the hair on a lighter colored comb than it would be on a darker one. I do have this darker barbering comb. However, it can be a little bit more challenging to be able to see your guide from underneath or the hair underneath. So scissor over comb technique is we're going to be taking our hair and following our guide below. We're simply going to be combing over the hair as we work our way up. And so this will give you more control of your haircut and the amount of hair that you're cutting versus the clippers. However, the clippers will give you a faster, cleaner, sharper result. So now that I've shown you scissor over comb, I'm going to be using the clippers on the other side of the head. So this will take a little bit of practice, and if you're not completely comfortable using clippers over comb, it's totally fine. You're going to get a great haircut by simply using scissors over comb. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our white comb that we were using, and we're going to take our clippers and we're going to make sure that they're closed. This will allow us to get a crisper line as we are cutting. You would do the same thing. Take your comb, pull the hair up, making sure that you establish that guide. Taking your clippers, you turn them on, and you simply cut. And so you get a cleaner line, and it's so much faster. So on this side, we use clipper over comb, and then we did this whole portion with clipper over comb. As we got through the back, we used scissor over comb. And so the haircut is now nicely blended. Both methods will work. It'll just be a matter of how comfortable you feel utilizing the clippers or the scissors. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be cleaning up around the edges, and so for that we're going to be utilizing our trimmers. I'll be using a small peanut. For this portion I like to use my comb, particularly through the back, and I'll show you why that is. But we're simply going to be carving out the perimeter here around the ears and around the back. Using our clippers, we're going to be utilizing them sideways versus using them horizontally. The reason for that is because, as you can tell here, there is not a whole lot of space, and if I were to use them this way, I would shave part of this eyebrow off. So utilizing them sideways and coming out, you'll have better control and more space to work with. This part here, what I like to do also is I like to comb the hair, just because the hair grows in different directions. I like to comb it down and then go in and cut that crisp line. I'm going to continue combing the hair down around the ears, taking my trimmers and using them on their side. I'm going to simply carve out a C shape. Once we got that front carved, we're simply going to fold the ear, and we're going to go in the opposite direction. So once we're done, it should look something like this. So we got a nice crisp C shape going around the ear. As we transition to the back, this is where your comb comes in quite handy. So what I like to do is, I'm giving shape to the back, I like to place my comb at the nape, and I like to connect it to where the end of that C is, and so that gives me my guide. I like using this because I feel like it gives me more symmetry as I'm polishing the haircut. And once we're done, we should get a nice clean line. Moving on to the back, we're going to be using the same technique. So I like to place my comb right where I want my line to start, and then simply just go in. On the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to comb it downwards and then go in and just clean that up. At this point, we should be done with the sides of the haircut. So what we've done is we've cut the hair, we've blended this portion out, and we've also carved out our outline around the haircut. And we should be looking something like this. So now it's time to move on to the top area. So before we begin cutting the top, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our hair is moist, and we want to make sure that we are distributing water evenly throughout the crown area. Alright, so now that we have even moisture throughout the hair, what we want to do is we want to establish our guideline for cutting the top area. So what we're going to do is we're going to comb the hair to the side. And the reason I'm combing it to the side is because it does wear a hard part. So we're just going to go from our hard part over to the opposite side. I'm going to be taking a thin section, combing it forward, lifting it up, and so this will establish our guideline. So since we cut his hair about 3 weeks ago, I want to take off about 1/4 of an inch. We're going to simply go in and we're going to begin cutting. So this here is going to be our guideline for the remainder of the hair. So we're going to continue taking those sections, lifting them up, using our previously cut section. We're going to use that as a guideline, and we're going to continue working our way to the back of the head. Once we're done cutting the top, what we did, just to recap, is we pulled the hair straight up and then we cut straight across. On the sides, we used our clippers and we went upwards. Essentially what we created was a square. And now what we want to do is we want to get rid of that corner to make the haircut flow better and to make it more rounded. Otherwise we'll get this effect where we have a corner on the side of the hair. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hair and we're going to get rid of this corner here. And what that's going to do is it's going to give the haircut a more rounded effect, being more complementary to the shape of the head. And we're going to continue that through the back. Alright, and that concludes our men's haircut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some product in there. I'm going to be cleaning up his beard off camera and we'll be right back. And we're all done. Throw on some pomade and you got yourself a basic men's haircut. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I hope you give this men's haircut a try. And like always, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. I hope you guys are having a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you on the next one. Bye.